Senator, so no movement yet on getting more Democrats on board, as only 3 so far have broken ranks. Do you see any way out of this anytime soon?
This is being driven by Chuck Schumer. This is the Schumer shutdown. A lot of it has to do with his own personal election politics. And I believe he feels like he has to fight for a certain amount of time for his radical left base. In fact, there's going to be a No Kings protest here. So we may see that they want to keep the government shut down until October 18th just to appease the radical left. And the thing about this is it's just Hippocratic. The hypocrisy is just breathtaking because the Democrats have voted for this exact same bill, this exact same spending level, 4 times over the last 18 months. Chuck Schumer himself has voted for it 4 times. And now they want to create this fight all to appease the radical left.
Yeah, President Trump weighed in last night with NewsMax's Greg Kelly, putting Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and radical Democrats on blast. Take a listen.
Well, I guess we're making progress. You know, look, they should have never shut it down. We have the best economy in the world right now. Nobody's even close, and they shouldn't have done it. But they're out of control. They're controlled by the radical left people, and it's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, what do you make of the president's comments there?
Well, he's exactly right. I mean, again, just as I said before, this is being driven by the radical left. You know, when Democrats were in charge, they were happy to vote for this, and now they're shutting it down to appease the radical left. You know, in the past, Schumer has said shutdown politics were the politics of idiocy. Now he's reversing himself 100%. They're trying to make this about these pandemic subsidies, but the pandemic's been over for 4 years, so that just seems crazy. In fact, Chris Murphy, back in 2013, said there's a time and a place to discuss health care, but it's not during a government shutdown. And so, you know, all the things the Democrats have said in the past, they're completely reversing course on just to show the hypocrisy of this whole shutdown. And again, all driven by the radical left.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, Senator, I mean, the Obamacare subsidies don't even expire until the end of the year. The government is shut down now, so they're basically trying to get you to do something that doesn't need to be done at this moment in time.
Yeah, and some Republicans have even said they're willing to negotiate this after we get government back open. I mean, this really is something that this should be easy for Democrats, right? Look, you've already voted for it 4 times already. Vote for it. Let's continue to work on appropriation bills. Let's fund government the way it's supposed to be done. But instead, the Democrats have decided to follow the radical left, shut down government. And right now, you know, of course, we're going to see that in a few weeks here, programs are going to start running out of money. Our military members are not going to get paid. They're going to work without getting paid, so are our government workers. And it's all because the Democrats are really just having to kowtow to the radical left.
Yeah, and speaking of healthcare on all of this, I know that you've been very vocal about this on X yesterday, posting, quote, Senate Democrats are holding the government hostage. Worse, they want to take away $50 billion from hospitals outside of major cities in Nebraska as a condition to open the government. Aren't these the same Democrats, though? We just talked about demanding a deal on the Affordable Care Act. I'm just a little confused by the hypocrisy it seems like that we've been seeing, especially the last 7 days, Senator.
Yeah, hypocrisy is the watchword here for the Democrats. They want to say this is about health care, but it's about pandemic subsidies. But part of the deal they want is to rip out the $50 billion the Republicans put in to be able to support our rural hospitals. That's important in states like mine in Nebraska. This is guarantees at least $100 million a year over the next 5 years to be able to help out our rural hospitals. So they say it's about health care, yet they're trying to take away health care. They're also trying to provide health care to illegal immigrants as part of this deal. As you said at the top of the interview, it's over $1 trillion in spending they're asking to be able to keep the government open only for 7 weeks. If they do this for 7 weeks, what are they going to demand again if we don't get all of our appropriations bills done? So, I mean, again, the Democrats have just tied themselves up in knots on this. The hypocrisy is really breathtaking. And ultimately, you know, we're going to start seeing that it's going to have an impact on the folks who are working to keep the government running, our military members. You know, if the Women and Children program runs out of money, people won't be able to apply for that. All sorts of things, you know, services are going to be impacted by this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Senator Pete Ricketts, thank you for taking the time this morning.